Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I've been holding off until a certain new release came out called Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert, and now that it's out and that I've read it, I can add it to this video, which is all about my favorite smutty romance authors. Some of these are going to be erotic romances, some are not, but they're, you know, just as filthy. I've got quite a few to share with you guys. I'll start off with Katie Robert just because she's the one with the new release that finally allowed me to make this video. I haven't read all of her erotic romances, like her Menage of Romance series. She has the Wicked Villain series, which is an erotic Disney fairy tale retelling about villains. I have read the first book though, Desperate Measures, and that was crazy hot. Some good consensual non-consent in that one. And if you want to read about Jafar stealing Jasmine away, read that book. But the one that I really want to talk about is Your Dad Will Do, which is the first book in her new smutty novella series called A Touch of Taboo. This book was pure filth and I loved it ever since she said that she was writing about a book where the heroine gets revenge on her cheating fiance, now ex-fiance, by sleeping with his dad. I needed that book. So yes, this one is a forbidden romance. The hero is, or he was going to be, the heroine's future father-in-law. It is a novella. It is very short and very quick, literally like pure sex. Not much for plot, but I mean, sometimes you don't need that. But the smut was so good. It is daddy kink. If you don't like that kind of kink, I don't suggest reading this one. But if you don't mind it, definitely read it. Lots of dirty talk. There is some filming involved sometimes. Also a giant age gap. They're like 20 years apart, I think. It was exactly what I was looking for and what I expected when she announced this book. And I am very excited to see what other taboo romances Katie Robert has in store for us. One of my favorite smutty romance authors who always delivers for me is Jessica Cain. I first discovered her when I read her debut that eventually got banned from Amazon, which is She's Too Young. And yes, she is 17, on the verge of 18, but yeah, that was why it was taken off of Amazon. But you can get the novella, I think, if you sign up for her newsletter. It is a duet. Book 2 is called She's Still Too Young. I think that one also is on her newsletter, but yeah, I love these books so much when they came out. I was still fairly new to like the whole daddy kink stuff when I read those books, but they definitely made me love the kink more. It's dirty, it's wrong, it's not exactly morally right, but I still loved it. Jessica Cain just always works for me. Her writing is great. She has the best possessive alpha heroes who are just completely obsessed with the heroines. They are taboo. She has like a priest or preacher romance. She has a nun romance. There's one of my other favorites is Pound of Flesh, where the guy goes to jail for the heroine and as soon as he's out, he claims her. I also love The Loner's Lady, where the heroine falls for her best friend's dad. Of course, lots of age gap in her romances. If you haven't read this smutty novella author, please do. They are just completely over the top and I love them. Another one of my absolute favorite authors who always writes like pure filthy sex in her books is Kresley Cole, and my top favorite book of hers is The Master. This is book 2 in her erotic mafia romance series, the Game Maker series. This is one of her only contemporary romance series. I wish she wrote more, but I love this book, this series, so much. I have book 3 actually too. The Player, I love both of these books so much. Rich alpha billionaire Russian heroes. It's 3 books in the series. They're all about these 3 brothers. In The Master, the heroine is on the run. She needs money, so she becomes a prostitute. And her very first client is our Russian billionaire who doesn't want to let her go. Kresley Cole also has the Immortals After Dark series, which is her very popular paranormal romance series that I am obsessed with. There are like a million books in the series, this paranormal romance series, and it's still going, although we don't really know the release date for the upcoming one, Monroe. I still have have a couple to catch up on. I read the first 10 books, binged all 10 when I read the series. It's just so bingeable and addicting. If you love paranormal romance, you have to try this series, and the sex is amazing too. Kresley Cole always goes over the top when it comes to the smut in her romances. The whole series is about different kind of paranormal creatures, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, fae, and they're all crazy and super horny. I'm pretty sure one of these books had the heroine sucking the blood out of the hero's erection. So that is the kind of content that you're in for if you read Kresley Cole. I also love Tessa Bailey. She is like my queen of dirty talk. I know most of you have probably read her newer series, the cutesy cover ones, Fix Her Up, Lover or Loser, and those books are great. But if you haven't read her earlier stuff, like her debut book, which is Protecting What's His, this whole series is about NYPD cops. There's also Crashed Out, which is her age gap older woman romance, and my top favorite from her, Risking It All. They're all crazy hot with some fantastic dirty talk. Like, Tessa Bailey was the one to get me into dirty talk. I love her. I read pretty much every single one of her books. She does have an actual like erotic romance series. I mean, it's part of a series with other authors, but like if you want BDSM stuff, she has that too. One of my favorites from that series is Driven by Fate. I love this author. I read pretty much every new release of hers. She just doesn't let me down, especially when it comes to the dirty talk. Another one of my favorites is actually one who co-wrote with Tessa Bailey a little while ago. That is Eve Dangerfield. Act Your Age is my top favorite book of hers. It is another daddy kink book, but it is so amazingly well written. It's humorous. I just love her style of writing. And if you want to read the book that Eve and Tessa Bailey co-wrote together, it is called Captivated. But At Your Age is so amazing. I love the age gap in this one, and it's got the grumpiest hero ever. It is also an office romance. She does the sunshine and grumpy hero dynamic so well. It is in At Your Age, and also in another one of my favorites from her, Degrees of Control. That one has got a dom sub kind of erotic romance. If you love the funny and kinky books, you should be reading Eve Dangerfield. Another funny and kinky romance author is Olivia Cunning. I love her rock star romances. They're all erotic romances, and they're so much fun. Like, literally anything sexual that you can think of, it will happen in this series. I actually have 3 books in the series. Rock Hard and Wicked Beat are my favorites. But yeah, the Sinners on Tour series is fabulous. I read the series when I was in high school and may have introduced all of my other teenage friends to read this series, and they were all mind blown. So if you want to read about rock stars who do the dirtiest things while falling in love while on tour, you gotta read the series. She is unfortunately a really slow author though. I mean, she has a huge backlist already, but I am still waiting on the spin-off series of the Sinners on Tour, the Exodus End series. That one is not finished yet. Of course, I can't talk about some of my favorite smutty romance authors without including Sierra Simone, who wrote Priest and Sinner. I actually completely forgot I owned Priest, but yeah, it's here. Literally, you guessed it, about a priest. Both of these are very hot and very forbidden. Priest has got a priest hero, and Sinner has got a nun-to-be heroine. Her books are always crazy hot, but also super romantic. I've read this series. I read her new Camelot trilogy, which is not my favorite, but I still thought it was really hot. She has a porn star book co-written with Laurelyn Page, who also writes pretty smutty books. I've read Misadventures of a Curvy Girl, one of her standalones. I haven't read her new series though, the Thornchapel series yet. I know it's pretty popular in booktube. I just haven't had the urge to start it yet. And the last author on my favorite smutty romance author list is Tiffany Rice, who also writes, like Sierra Simone, erotica meets Catholicism in her original Sinner series, which is my top favorite erotica series ever. Her writing is brilliant. I love the series so much. There are currently 9 books, but you can just read like the first 4. It's so worth it though if you do read all of the books in the series. They are amazingly well written. Nora, the heroine, is one of my top favorite heroines ever. She's a professor and an author who moonlights as a dominatrix. She's in love with a sadist priest. The religion in the series is so beautifully written. Like, I'm not religious myself, but it made me appreciate it all the more because of the way Tiffany Rice wrote it in this series. It's funny, it's sarcastic, and so perfectly kinky. If you want to read some of her standalones though, you don't want to invest in like a 9-book series, 9-book plus series. She has a couple of them, The Red, and then they spin off The Rose. The Red is all about these paintings that are brought to erotic life, and The Rose is all about Greek mythology brought to erotic life. The Rose's heroine is actually the daughter of the main characters in The Red, so that's how they connect, but both of them can be read as complete standalones. And that's it for my favorite smutty romance authors. Let me know if you read any of these, if you have your own favorites, share them down below. As always, links are in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!